Here we are, in the middle of a trial, in the middle of a thought, in the middle of a conversation. We talked for so long last time, we ain't talking anymore this time.
Except for when we need to talk.
Which is probably going to be 4/5 of the episode. But in any case, without further ado, let's go on to talk about how ways Nagito could have committed suicide. And I feel like we kind of saw a lot of potentially very important things in the previous episode. Anyway.
Speaking of the last episode, we're the Bittersweet Gamers.
It's dead, Jim.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you that my dad met DeForest Kelly?
You have, actually!
I'm the opinionator!
Aren't we squared?
Ah, man, it's so nice to have this big grin on her face and laugh so uproariously.
While staring at Nagito's brutalized corpse.
A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural.
Speaking of brutalized corpses...
Huh?
Nothing.
That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Right.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
And it's the one that doesn't have wounds on it.
And all the other wounds are within his arm's reach.
Yeah, that should be the case.
Like the thighs, not the shins.
Mm-hmm.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Are you serious?
Oi, Hajime!
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
Miss Sonia?
That's definitely wrong.
I just want to keep pointing out, it's the Yakuza who does things
Who's
like
the
this.
moral high ground?
Yes.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
Where's this conversation going? Let's move on with the trial!
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito.
Well, Nagito's gonna have to cough up a Benjamin too.
I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know?
Isn't it just so interesting? The next line of discussion that we've come to.
Yeah, for anybody who can't quite remember or who randomly just tuned in for this episode, which is pretty strange, but okay, whatever. At literally the end of the final episode,
I had an idea about how Nagito was able to stab himself with the knife in his hand.
And using the Monokuma plushie, and that even explains the location of the plushie.
Yeah.
So, it may not be true, but we did think of something for this.
Even if I am wrong, it is still the next thing that came up.
Right.
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
Give me back that feel.
Now hold on! She said, I just have to get a Benjamin from you, and then she says, give me back that Benjamin. All she's actually trying...
Yeah!
She's just trying to mug Hajime.
Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back? What the heck?
I'm smart!
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000%
What
interest.
is Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah?
Is she saying she's going to pay other people to cop a feel? This may not be an entirely disadvantageous situation.
Stop it, David! Stop it! I know you're obsessed with boobs! Way to stab yourself in your right hand using only your right hand.
If you had some place to put the knife and are crazy.
It's okay. There's definitely an answer for this. So I know what the point is.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
This is
He
the
threw
only
the
way.
knife into the air and let the knife fall.
I mean, he is lucky,
Could he
but
stab his hand that way?
it wouldn't go all the way
Is he a
through.
culinary
Right.
expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Yeah,
It's this one.
yeah.
And slammed his right hand down on it?
Yeah, you were right on, Billy.
Dropped it onto what?
That's the only way to explain,
If he
like,
just
blood on
propped
it.
the knife,
yeah.
He could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily.
And wouldn't have
We
that
don't know
much
if his
force.
left hand could even reach his right hand.
Give me back that Benjamin! It's mine!
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Ow!
I agree with that.
Eat my consent. Wait.
Give me that Benjamin!
The life-sized Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach.
And in the previous chapter, we did cut open a Monokuma plushie with some scissors as part of the puzzle solving. I don't remember what was in it.
For that matter, we also picked up and messed around with some plushies in this one and saw a bunch of them. Even if this is slightly out of left field, like, you know, this part is like propped up, propped up, propped up, prop up, and you're like, oh, okay, well, you can't prop up a knife with torture wound, but you know, here is a thing with blood on it and a hole in it, so.
He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it. If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him, and it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
That means he didn't grab it. He didn't grab the knife because his hand doesn't have, like, more blood and sleeve and everything, and just managed to fling it with his hand still straight with the knife stuck through it, and that just sounds painful.
Well, that's probably why the tape around his mouth was all chewed up.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
Don't get my hopes up.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
Billy?
That was a horror reference. I believe it is Robert the doll? A doll that is believed to be haunted by his previous owner. It is said that his hair still grows after his owner died.
There you have it, folks. Between me and robots and Billy and horror, we'll take care of everything.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
Oh, yeah.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
But he couldn't get it far enough.
And after he threw it, he couldn't go and throw it further.
And I guess he kind of missed.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem.
Yeah?
The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right?
Not actually. No.
And this is the part...
I mean, we haven't gotten that far yet to the point.
This is the part that we don't quite have. We think the spear fell, and the cord was wrapped around the girder, and he pulled the weight with his hand that was gripping the cord. But it's like, when was that supposed to happen?
Well...
And based on the timeline we have right now, if his hand were to relax when...
Say because he got poisoned?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If his hand were to relax itself, then you could see how that could make... But I mean, I think that's probably the direction this is going. Is that the word I've been using this whole chapter has been mechanism.
Uh-huh.
He could have been relying on the slackening of his own hands to get the thing to fall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that sounds very
Then how is that over there? How is the weight over there then?
Well, because if he let go of it and it slid all the way, the weight pulled the spear down, and then the rest of it, then it would just sort of coil up wherever, right?
That's how the blood got up there. It's like it had to have been counterweighted pulley. So the blood that came from his other wound...
Ah, there we go. Okay.
And so when the weight went up, or something like the weight going up, it put that blood there.
Yeah.
We're not quite there.
We're in the ballpark.
Yeah, we're in the ballpark at least.
That was for you, Leon.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito.
If we're right, it was.
If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
And the music also would have covered the sound of this. And this is what Akane heard.
Ah!
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
That would kind of make sense, yeah?
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Give me my Benjamin!
Of course! Could you say that line again, Miss Sonia?
I'm sorry. Didn't catch all that.
It is very disturbing how in sync I am with Kazuichi.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time. I need you recorded. For reasons.
And so Akane is going to be walking around, she's going to be like, yeah, that's right. And then Minimaru is going to say, if you penetrated by something so big and thick, you die instantly. And then she'll be like, what the hell?
No, Minimaru's turned off, remember?
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out.
What else are you going to record it on?
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stabbed into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
Nope, not at all.
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that.
That's why you know it can't be true.
To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
In the last trial, the final trial, for there to be something that's everyone just comes to this conclusion, and it's...
Right. How'd that go?
But when I did that, I also took my arms and chopped them up and down.
Why are you explaining to me? I saw you.
I'm not explaining to you.
Oh, okay.
Is there a problem with me explaining to the viewers why I'm making funny noises like which is actually from Ace Attorney, while making gestures?
No, it's okay.
Because I think it's amusing.
I'll allow it.
Do you want to go?
A body has been discovered.
I will take a Benjamin from you, please.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right?
And because he's chiming in.
But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone.
Again, he's kind of right.
But I like that Monomi's standing up to him.
If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
Oh yeah?
Is she gonna save us at the end when we get it wrong or something?
Maybe.
Monomi's sassing me.
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. So this might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
I agree.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course, that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
I think it's the regulations.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone.
Wasn't that from the first game? That
What?
sounds familiar, that line.
No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
Chiaki can say this with the straight face. Look, I agree with this sentiment, but Chiaki can say this with a straight face because she has gone out of her way to try and take care of people who were having problems and who were isolated.
Yeah.
Even Fuyuhiko in the first trial, when he was grandstanding and staying away from everybody else, Chiaki didn't treat him badly when he came, like, kind of checking around, you know, maybe he was even just there to check on Peko or something, but...
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
But the point is, Chiaki stopped Hajime from going in the final dead room.
Stopped Akane from killing Nagito.
Chiaki can say this, and I agree with that. But there's a difference between the active method that Chiaki uses, where she has demonstrated that conviction and done things about it, or tried to do things about it, and, like, the old Monomi who just would, like, say, believe in your friends, don't mistrust each other. Like, those are not the same thing. This is good, that is bad. But even Monomi knows that the other method is bad now, so we're all in.
I also want to believe that there's no killer.
Yes!
But suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
Huh?
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
It's true.
What kind of way?
Telekinesis!
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together.
She just wanted to keep the possibility on the table.
And not just that, this is it. This is the sort of sentiment that's actually valuable. This is the sort of sentiment that gets everybody
stronger,
really working together.
Yeah.
And that's the way that you can build up bonds.
That's how. We made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
She's right. We've made it through several ordeals up till now by doing that. Then, even now!
All right, let's do this.
Good lord!
Okay, here we go.
Blood on left hand, I think.
We haven't even messed with the blood on left hand.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
Nice.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
Well...
If that's the case,
That's
the
the
only
one.
other way is...
He used his teeth?
Or his front tail!
Maybe he used his front tail.
She's just determined!
I know guys have tails that get hard when they're grabbed.
What are you saying?
Jesus!
The blushing Miss Sonia is freaking awesome!
Okay,
I like
come on,
how...
guys.
Is this really working together? I think we're doing something wrong.
Then that rules out his left hand.
But there's just so many weird
No, that's
things
wrong.
related to his left hand.
Yeah.
Why don't we examine those?
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain, but it's not the only unnatural bloodstain.
The one on the spear.
Look,
Oh.
there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Well, also that too.
Putting those two things together and then looking at the cord with the weight, like, there's only one conclusion you can come to, right?
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
Well, it means it reveals something.
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, are you asking for a logic dive?
If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
What was Nagito's left hand doing when the blood splattered?
Gripping!
Let's see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand.
I love how we were completely destroyed by the first nonstop debate, and then everything since then we've been like, get out of here,
Hey,
kid.
we figured it out. The first one.
That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
What is with you and your front tail?
Well, there's just things that she never really learned.
Yeah, the place she grew up in. Ugh.
That's how she learned about front tails.
Here's the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear.
Potato, potato.
Kazuichi!
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild.
I mean, they actually look really bad from this angle, but I know what you're saying.
He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
That's right. That's the problem.
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
No, I haven't figured it out yet.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle, just like fixing an old TV.
You go through a lot of TVs, don't you?
What? You mean he's saying, like, kick
Like,
the
whack
TV?
the TV so it works.
You know, come to think of it, when the TV that I had when I was a kid, when it was starting to go out, I did whack the side of it, but...
Well, that's a common element, you know? You see that in old movies and things of that nature, and I remember doing it too because we're both ancient.
Because it's like the static started building up on it. And,
yeah, then bam!
And then sometimes you had to like mess around with the RF cable on the back.
You don't even know what bunny ears are, you freaking young people.
Well, I never used bunny ears.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear, I think. However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
And if you want to know more, go to the truth bullets and look.
Which section of the spear was he holding on to?
The blade!
That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Yeah.
Well, let's get out the measuring tape.
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh?
And the thing that's really important about all of this is the Monokuma file not saying what the cause of death is.
Yes.
And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
Because then we can know the logistics of the situation.
Yeah, and so it's like he's already got blood all over that. Yeah.
And it would have wiped off as it fell.
Yeah, and so it's like he lets it go because when he threw the spear in the first place before all of the other stuff, then it was set up so that
it was dangling over him.
Yeah, and it's like he had to keep a hold of it because it had to be to the point that when he let it go, it would actually fall.
Yeah.
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki? I am sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
I've got the truth bullet right here. Come on. Hangman's Gambit? Anyone? Nagito was gripping the cord extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand.
What would Hangman's Gambit be for this?
I don't know, man. But from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with the spear?
Eh.
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
Huh?
At a time like this,
Tea might be good.
how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
I feel like she's calling us out.
I'm really bad at that. I really prefer to go to the end.
And work our way back from there.
Actually, yeah. Usually works pretty well. But, I mean, every time we have trouble, it's because we need to use Chiaki's plan to think one step at a time.
That's a long plan name.
I like how she's always calling us out.
One step at a time. What does that mean?
Oh, I call you guys out plenty, too.
Yeah, we ignore you.
I just generally feel as though, even though you guys are constantly saying that you prefer me to that other Monokuma from the first game, you always disrespect me so much.
We disrespect because we care, Monokuma.
I'm not positive that's a compliment, but I'll take it. I'll get you in the end.
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled
Yes,
Nagito.
this is the point.
How it was positioned.
Dangling in the air.
Nagito was facing up, and the spear was stabbed through his stomach. So if it's just before that... That's it. Could it be? The state of the spear, and the fact that Nagito is holding the tip of the cord attachment.
Here we go.
If I put those together and think about it, I should be able to figure out...
Some really freaking weird word.
Where the spear was and what state it was in before it stabbed Nagito. Oh my god, I was kidding.
Okay,
Logic down.
Good. I was like, if the word wasn't counterweight or pulley, I'm like, what do you want?
Okay, that's the jump button, because I keep forgetting what the jump button is.
Well, you've only ever done a handful of these. About 4? Ah! Very good. Run straight.
Touche, Gabe.
Run straight into it. Head on. Meet everything head on. Run from nothing.
Aw.
Good job. You're being a man. You want me to grab your long tail?
No!
I mean front tail? Where was the spear before it impaled Nagito?
Above Nagito. I wasn't paying attention to the stage and looking at where the arrows were.
So you just ran yourself off?
Yeah. It's always these that give me the most trouble. Oh, God!
Good job, Billy! Run straight into it! How manly.
You're welcome. Woo! Woo!
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Woo!
Oh, that was good. That was slick.
Thank you.
Question 2. Besides the spear, what else was above Nagito? A ceiling girder!
Ah, dang it!
Do I need to read faster?
I shouldn't read the questions. You should. I should just look at the answer.
Yeah, you need to look at the answer while I read the questions. It's like we've known all the answers, you've just left into holes.
Whee! Whee! Whee!
Oh man, you should have like threaded the needle. That would have been mad respect.
I hate sewing. Oh, oh. There's not much to say during these parts.
Well, that's why I was trying to talk about front tails.
We don't need to talk about your front tails.
I don't got one. What item connects both the spear and the ceiling girder? Good job, Billy!
Oh, the spear's cord?
Yes. Man, we knew every answer and you flung yourself in every hole.
It's because there's 3 of them, you understand. I'm used to there mostly being 2.
You flung yourself in every hole.
Every single hole.
Every single
coming
hole.
together.
If you're penetrated by something so big and thick...
Please don't.
The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular. In the middle of the air?
Yes, because it floats, because it's a magic enchanted spear.
The Holy Spear Gungnir.
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, but he probably used the ceiling girder directly above him.
I mean, you can definitely tell because it's got blood on it.
Right.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder and using that as a support.
Unless he used the ESP to float it up there, and then that caused, like, blood to, like, squirt out of his eyes because of, like, the intense amount of pressure it took on his brain.
No.
Or we're probably right in the first place about throwing the spear
Yeah.
up there and using the counterweight pulley thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
He hoisted the spear directly above him.
Hoisted.
And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
Like, seriously, is this just an Ace Attorney trial? Because we have to do all the diagrams this time.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Are you serious? He really committed suicide? Like that?
Not quite like that, but the question is, look, I get that it's the poison.
Maybe. We don't actually have any proof that it was the poison, but that seems like where they're going.
The best proof I can think of is there's no cause of death in the Monokuma file.
And the nature of the poison itself being...
And we have all the evidence on the poison, and we have the poison as a truth bullet. But, alternately, you know, you could say that the poison was also suicide, if that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah? It might be an arguable point with this Monokuma.
Well, that's why I was saying last time when we first thought that it was going to turn out to that it was going to get pegged on Akane, was because it had been argued in the past, and Monokuma accepted the entire argument that he is going to use the exact same argument to say it's Akane. But, By the way, to get this off my chest, back in the funhouse, before Nekomaru was killed, and before Nagito went full Komaeda psycho mode. While brainstorming about a way for everybody to get out of the funhouse, we considered briefly the idea that if someone were to sacrifice themselves, one person would die instead of all the people would die. And we said that the only person it would make sense would be Nagito, who keeps talking about being a stepladder.
Yeah.
That's why we mentioned that. And the sheer amount of excoriation we got in the comments was pretty egregious. And I cannot help but notice. And this was when we had a higher opinion of Nagito. Mm-hmm. We did not think he was... We were thinking that maybe he was actually going to turn it around and be a better guy than he turned out being.
Mm-hmm.
And then this comes up. You know, we were just brainstorming what had come into our minds. And that happens a lot. We get excoriated because we don't have the same opinion as the rest of the fan base or a lot of the fan base. And basically every trial, there's a huge amount of crap that we get. Keep on giving it. Keep on giving it. You can say whatever you like, because you are in fact taking the time to watch our videos. And we really do appreciate that. We don't all think the same way about a variety of things. And you're welcome to hate us as much as you like. But look at it like this. You realize that in many ways, by telling us to avoid that topic and how Nagito would never do such a thing is also a spoiler. Again, thank you for watching our videos. You took your own time and gave it to us. And for that conscious decision to do that, even though you don't like the way we talk about certain characters or ideas in the plot,
so thank you.
We are very grateful. As has been said by Monokuma recently, the most valuable thing you have is your time.
He probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that.
But having said that, this isn't exactly what happened! The poison!
If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
The theatrics!
As has been said earlier, spears are very easy to use.
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
But for Yuriko?
The trick was to look like suicide while making somebody else strike the killing blow.
Then this is for real?
For real? Oh, I'm so sorry.
He really committed suicide?
What are you doing here? Don't sweat the small details, bro man.
Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
Don't underestimate
Not just that. He did all that while he was gripping the spear?
the mental fortitude of...
The psychopath.
Considering how elaborately it was set up, and the fact that there's no way for anybody to leave, I can't, however, think that anybody other than Nagito did those things.
Yeah.
Even if the poison is what killed him.
If this is following the pattern of the previous game, Nagito probably set this up so that they would realize it was him, but Monokuma might take advantage of this to try and blame Akane.
I mean, it would have been whoever hit the door.
Right. Oh god!
That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end. Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
Right.
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth, too?
Well, yeah, he'd had to have.
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
If Nagito is the one that did this, then he was trying to frame someone else.
Yeah!
Like, why would he go to this much trouble? If he was just intending to kill himself, he wouldn't need to torture himself. That's the part that's weird. That's why I keep coming back to that poison.
Well...
I mean, that makes somebody face the ultimate despair.
If he was able to create a scenario in which no one could identify the killer, wouldn't that be like the ultimate test of the ultimates?
Yeah.
From Nagito's perspective?
Yeah. Either they can't overcome it, and then they all die, including Nagito, because he already didn't get away with it, even though I guess that would mean he would have won the trial, or they're able to use blah blah hope blah 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 and overcome the scenario that was set, but in so doing someone quite legitimately was sacrificed
Yeah
by dealing the killing blow.
Yeah That sounds like his MO.
And that's the stepladder aspect. Like he in that case he would have used his own life to force
propel
them to
everyone to greater hope.
To force everyone to face a tragedy, after which they had no choice but to grow stronger.
Yeah.
Did he need to go that far?
That's the only sort of reason I can think of that he would torture himself.
That's beyond crazy. Why would he do that to himself?
That cold look on his face,
He was
too.
probably trying to get us to make a mistake.
Yeah!
By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
That's not quite right. Isn't it more like by doing a suicide that looks like a murder that's actually a murder, but you could argue it's a suicide? And I don't think the goal is right.
Yeah.
And that's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
Did he want us to die that bad?
We came to this too fast.
That's messed up. That's seriously so messed up.
Yeah, that's our Nagito.
Jeez. I was starting to feel a little sympathetic towards him. How stupid of me. I completely underestimated his capacity for malice.
I like that. Malice.
A mind-boggling malice that threatens us even after he's died. That's the form his malice took. I'd forgotten all about it until now.
Somebody with a deep grudge against Nagito.
Nagito himself! If he was here now, he'd probably be sneering at me.
However, there is one thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right?
Here we go.
Whatever became of that?
Well, he was probably hoping the traitor would step forward and use their e-handbook.
He was probably planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place?
Yeah!
If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
And here's the part where we're going to suspect Sonia, because she knew the bombs were fake.
He tried to make us doubt each other, and tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
I mean, Yurihiko's right.
You
In the end.
are right, I suppose.
But, I mean, Sonia is onto something. There's more going on here.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion.
And that's the trap.
Yeah!
The bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so we'd be executed.
That should be okay, right? Right?
I don't like those words that were highlighted.
What? You're not satisfied yet?
We have to keep going until we've dealt with all the funny points.
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense.
And this is Akane, guys.
It's probably just my imagination.
No. Please tell me what you're thinking.
Especially when she's not talking...
About front tails.
Or just kind of like high-powered when she's actually like softly thinking about it. Like there's clearly something that you need to listen to.
Why? I mean, I sort of understand what she's talking about. I don't think it's a mistake to assume Nagito committed suicide, but... why do I feel so uneasy about it? Is it because we don't know who the traitor is?
And for that matter, that's something we still haven't worked out.
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
No! It doesn't matter what we may have, what suspicions we may have. If Monokuma says that, the answer is no!
What do you think, Akane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
No, I disagree!
No, it's, what is she, about 55, 45?
That's enough accuracy for me to believe in her.
Take it seriously sometimes, like now.
You are right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
then it's okay to end it here, huh?
I sense a bad end or something coming up. That means it's time for an emergency save.
That means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island, right?
Because if we say, yeah, then
it's over.
It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Man, that it is a false happy ending. Itsuwari no nakuen, or something like that.
Well, at least this one shouldn't seem to rely on us lying.
Then it's okay? It's okay to say, you've decided on the killer?
No! But if the answer comes up, we are going to say yes.
Understood. Then voting time.
No, hold on a sec.
Okay.
I mean, technically I'm in charge. I can force it, right? Darn it.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more.
Why?
I can't help but feel
Okay,
like
yeah.
there's still something we overlooked.
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
Maybe.
That's true, but...
It's probably a really good idea to work it out if we can, or at least discuss it.
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is.
Yeah.
Huh?
No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide. But
There's just...
I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death.
What actually is she talking about?
I'm not sure.
Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
Yeah?
Something related to Nagito's death, and it's something that even he couldn't have messed with.
You're gonna keep going? Here, I thought we were finally finished.
Something related to Nagito's death? A piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. I mean,
one of the things we found there? Not the poison, wouldn't it be more like...
the Academy file?
Try it. I don't think that's it, though.
Crap!
I didn't think so. What else is there at the scene of the crime that we haven't even discussed? There's the stuff with the poison.
Well?
What is there at the scene that we...
At the scene? Oh, I see. I was thinking of the stuff Nagito had in his room.
I mean, Chiaki saw that, but that's not what she was saying.
Yeah.
She was saying stuff that he couldn't tamper with at the scene. But we've addressed all the stuff at the scene. I mean...
Yeah, the burnt rope, the knife in his hand, the plushie, the spear dropping on him.
Well, we think that what killed him was the poison, and that hasn't come up. No, it's a Monokuma file. It's cause of death. We don't know the cause of death.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And Chiaki was the person right at the beginning who is, like, when we got the Monokuma file.
Was just like, hey, this is kind of fishy, don't you think?
Like, this is missing something. And we had just assumed that was the case, and then moved on from there.
We let it go and moved on.
Again, we were too far ahead and not doing one step at a time.
Is it about the Monokuma file?
We let Chiaki down. I'm so ashamed.
Yeah, that's it.
Huh? There was something suspicious in the Monokuma file?
I mean, why don't we just say, hey, Monokuma, why isn't there a cause of death listed? And he's like, well, you know, I didn't want to give anything away, or, well, And it's like, well, it's, you know, the fact that it's not listed means that it's suspicious. So if it's not one of these, that...
Yeah!
That's like you're saying that if you couldn't determine that it was being stabbed by the spear...
Or like blood loss or something.
Or strangulation or whatever, then it must be important to the outcome.
Sonia, it's not that there was something suspicious. It's that there wasn't something that was suspicious in the... I don't know.
I mean, we were thinking it had to do with the weight on the cord first.
The victim is Nagito Komaeda. The body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand.
Just to make sure you go over all of that, and there's something that don't say.
The suspicious part of the Monokuma file that Chiaki's worried about is... What is it? What's hidden in the Monokuma file?
All right, Billy, get ready.
Yeah!
It's gonna be cause of death. Well, piece of cake. Knock yourself out.
Oh, hey.
Oh my God! I just let the cat out. Okay, you're gonna have to just start destroying junk. Dude, you need to get over there. It's like, don't worry about getting the right letters. You need... Dude, get the F. Okay, you finally got the F. If I knew
Oh my God!
If I knew the controls, I do. Get the E! Get the E! Get the E! Now get the A! If there is no A, then get things that are about to hit each other somewhere.
God almighty!
I mean, this is kind of awesome. Get the H! If you get the H, we're done! Man!
I was not prepared for that!
I can see that! You may be a shooter player, but I guess you didn't do so much Gradius or
There's
something.
no specific cause of death.
Bullet hell games.
Good lord!
That was pretty ridiculous.
Well, since I kept focusing, I kept regenerating health, so I managed to take it. I think I came out on a positive, actually.
Yeah, sort of. We'll get like a C on this trial.
Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand.
There's all these visible wounds and no reason to say why or what it was that
killed him.
No reason to not
Isn't
say
that
that
weird?
unless it's relevant.
Until now, the files always specified the cause of death.
But the cause of death is obvious, is it not? The spear in Nagito's stomach. It is obvious just by looking at it that it was a cause of death.
Then why isn't it mentioned?
Yeah! And the blood on the inside of the
It's not
tape.
included if it's not important enough to write about.
That is not true at all, and you know it!
Well, Monokuma,
I mean, you know.
There he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
Oh, that really helps. Thanks.
Thank you for contributing, Monomi.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Mikan's case, the thing he purposely omitted from the Monokuma file was always the most important mystery in the case.
Oh, that's not fair. It means that no matter what I don't put in the file, you guys will figure it out. It's almost like you're developing some sort of skill at this. It's a good thing this is the last trial because I don't think I can pull one over you guys anymore. I suppose we just better have to have a better class of killer. Someone who doesn't leave evidence.
Are you saying that applies this time too?
Why wouldn't it?
Hold on a sec. Then, are you saying there's more to Nagito's death? Are you suggesting, again, that his death wasn't a suicide?
You guys were the ones who said it was a suicide in the first place.
No, I don't think it's a mistake to call Nagito's death a suicide, but it's not just a suicide.
We gotta figure everything out.
Come to think of it.
We know that the cause of death is important. We did check out his room, but it's like, that does kind of seem like a coming at it from the end. But I mean, that's how we operate.
Right.
Did Nagito really commit suicide just to get us all killed?
That is the point.
Are you sticking up for him?
No!
That's not what I meant. I mean it in a bad sense.
bad sense?
He's been saying it this whole time. Like, he wants us to face the ultimate despair so that we can overcome it and attain the ultimate hope or some such.
Some such, yes.
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations, and that concerns me. For example, would that malice just end here?
Even dead, he still haunts us.
Even dead, he's still going to try his best and possibly succeed to get one of us killed.
Huh?
Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, this is Nagito we're talking about, you know?
He's freaking crazy!
How interesting! You sure do believe in Nagito, huh?
Just like how you say that giving up is something that we ought to strive for, yes.
Because you believe in his malice, you continue to suspect his malice. I see. I guess that's what passes for friendship these days.
Well, you know, that would be a nasty dig at us if Nagito wasn't so freaking crazy.
What friendship?
Yeah, exactly.
What should we do, you guys? Should we proceed with the vote?
Oh, really? Okay, let's get that emergency bad ending save.
I think we should keep going until everyone is satisfied, even if it's just to be safe.
You're right. We only get one chance to vote after all.
Or it's not going to give us a bad end option.
Because we keep expecting it.
Just to be safe, huh? Guess I have no choice. If that's the case, I'll do my best to go along with it.
This is friggin' annoying. But if you guys say you're doing it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
I can't wait to get to the point where I shoot hope at everyone.
Hey, Monokuma, you heard us. The voting's gonna have to wait.
Well done, Kazuichi.
I think it's really interesting how Akane and Fuyuhiko are the only ones with anyone next to them. And it's them.
I see.
Baby gangsta.
We've come this far. Let's work hard till the very end. If we work together, everything should be all right.
If you want to call me baby gangsta, then you better pay me some Benjamins.
We're not going to talk about Benjamins or front tails.
That's what I believe.
Aww. Splendid. You guys are so splendid right now.
I feel worse.
I feel kind of creeped out by how she's acting.
That's right. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you.
If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you, huh? Now that I think about it, Nagito said the same thing. The absolute hope that can overcome any despair. He said he was yearning for that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's been telling us consistently the whole time, so we need to assume he is acting in that manner.
Then, this situation we're in might be the thing that Nagito wanted all along.
The absolute despair that needs to be overcome.
No, never mind. I'm probably overthinking. Yes? Oh.
Now for that emergency save!
No.
Man, my heart was racing like crazy when I thought the voting time was gonna start, and, you know, the Blackened was going to win this time around, but... Well, if you think about it rationally, there's no way it was gonna happen. We haven't done this bit yet.
Don't be so meta, Kuma.
This is the point you're all waiting for! Most of the players probably figured that out too. You're the only one who didn't know. Isn't that right, Monomi? Hey, how much longer are you planning to sulk? I was throwing things right at you, and you're supposed to retort with something that's sweet like milk or something. And, well, let's just get along like we always do. Come on. We should go back to the way things were.
I like this.
Oh, this is so frustrating. No, right? You passed! Friendship is measured by how long you can stand the silence when you're all alone with someone else. Wait, I actually said something good this time. For real. so, Motomi and I are the bestest of best friends.
It's true. Me and Damon stay in the same room and don't say anything to each other for hours, just staring at each other.
What the hell are you talking about, you freaking creepo? I will stab the death. Ah!
Don't say such stupid things. I hate you so much right now.
Enough! Why do I have to be hated that much? Even BSG kind of likes me this time.
Besides the fact that you snap at me like that, I don't trust you at all. Not even a teensy tiny 1 millimeter bit.
Oof. Distrusting your friend is much more shameful than being betrayed by that friend, you know. No, it ain't!
We aren't even friends in the first place.
Oh, you mean I don't get to decide that unilaterally? Then as your older brother, let me say this.
You're not even my brother!
It's sad to live a life without friendship. That's even sadder than watching a high school rom-com full of guys.
Well, there may be some demands for that. I mean, no, I'm getting sucked into his pace! I fell for it. I totally took the man bait.
There will be no discussion of man bait.
Or front tails.
I'm Monomi. By now, there's nothing more for me to say.
Is that maybe the truth?
You know, that's better than the insulting joke I was going to say.
Anyway, my chest is full of pride right now. Everyone is united against despair. They're totally awesome. That's why I'm gonna fight too.
Anytime you want to contribute.
I will fight the only way I can. I'm gonna show that guy my fearsome retaliation.
You're gonna run in circles around him and wait for a tree to sprout?
Or drills.
The drills are what you want.
That's basically it.
Okay.
So if we're working together, where do we start? With the cause of death missing from the Monokuma file?
Why don't we try removing all our preconceived notions before we discuss
Hey,
this?
that sounds familiar. That's what we do anytime we're running into trouble.
In the beginning, our discussion advanced by assuming Nagito's death was caused by the spear. It's better to confirm if there are any other possibilities. That's what I think.
Well, I happen to have this giant bottle of frickin' poison.
Apparently, according to the label on it, it vaporizes when exposed to heat.
And then is dispersed with water.
Other possibilities.
If something other than the spear killed Nagito, all I can think of is the knife stabbed into his hand, but...
But then we would have found out it was blood loss
Yeah.
as the cause of death, and that would take care of it.
That was definitely a gruesome wound, but it wouldn't be the fatal wound, don't you think?
Well, I mean, you'll probably bleed out pretty quick.
Not if the knife is stuck there.
I suppose so.
If you think the cuts on his legs and left arm aren't the fatal wounds...
Well, they're not. They're too shallow. Chiaki, you were there when we found the poison.
Are we finished already?
I feel like it's possible that we overlooked something.
For instance, something in his fridge.
He's got a fridge?
I know! Can you believe it?
No! Overlooked, huh?
Then let's bring up whatever we can think of, one after the other. That might clear some things up.
Ah, throw every truth bullet out?
Exactly! We should cooperate at a time like this.
Let me just get my truth Tommy gun and just load the barrel. A fatal wound that wasn't the spear. We don't even know if it actually exists. But if it does,
Then it's gaseous poison.
we need to find out what it is no matter what.
Let us consider a different fatal wound.
It's not the knife in his right hand, right? It's not the other wounds, right?
I'm suspicious at the lack of noise.
With all those wounds,
Sometimes that happens.
maybe he simply bled to death.
He wasn't there long enough.
There's no way he burned to death.
Right.
Was the cause of death something that cannot be seen?
As it turns out,
If it's something that can't be seen, maybe he choked himself with a sleeper hold.
you can't kill yourself
Or
like
liquefied
that.
his guts with a body blow.
His guts
Just
might have
thinking
been
about it,
liquefied,
that's
but it wasn't a
already
body
horrible
blow.
death.
I mean, it was something unseen.
Yeah.
This isn't hard.
Okay.
Was the cause of death something that cannot be seen?
But
You hit the white noise.
oh,
If it's maybe he choked himself with a sleeper hold.
Was the cause of death something that cannot be seen?
I agree with that.
once again, we're agreeing with Sonia.
Huh.
That's it. I totally forgot about that possibility.
Yeah, so as soon as Billy shot away 2 minutes,
I mean, you know.
I
sometimes-
grabbed the dang controller, and the shooter guy who does these crazy things in Hangman's Gambit, other than this one, but this Hangman's Gambit was pretty crazy.
Look, man. I mean, you can't always be on. I mean,
I had to make the precise shot, see? And you were doing so good. You got to actually do the non-stop debates in this trial, and then you hit a white noise, and so you had to just shoot away 2 whole minutes.
Well, you know, we got the important thing isn't who almost ended the game for whom. The important thing is that we move boldly forward into the future.
Can I point out that you managed to get a game over in the first trial?
It's not important about who got a game over for who, but that we boldly go forward into the future.
If the cause of death was something we can't see, then we have to consider poison as a possible method.
Poison?
Especially when we have this giant bottle of vaporizing poison.
That's over half empty.
Yeah, oh, and we have the seal too to show that it was opened and used.
It is true that poison is not something we can see, but why did you bring that up all of a sudden?
Oh yeah, Chiaki's the only one who came into Nagito's room with me.
I remember, when I went to investigate Nagito's cottage, I discovered something really strange.
It really wasn't fair that he's got a fridge and nobody else does.
Inside the refrigerator, I found a bottle of Monokuma's special poison.
Oh, I guess there's that.
Poison?
Additionally, that's a poison made specifically for killing.
It says so on the label.
I see. Now that you mention it, there's no way a toxin like that doesn't relate to the case at all.
If poison was the cause of death, it would not leave an obvious wound on Nagito's body.
What?
Why would he leave the bottle in the fridge? Wouldn't he dispose of the bottle after he used it?
It's not like he wouldn't think that people would check out his...
Yeah.
And that's just part of it. For that matter, that gas mask and those rubber gloves.
Maybe so he could apply the poison without ahead of time without accidentally poisoning himself.
Okay, yeah, that's got to be it. That's got to be it because he was able to take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what that was. Because
However, it's common for blood blotches to appear on a body that's been poisoned.
How do you know that?
I'm glad to hear that you know that. Probably the family business talking again.
I see. You sure seem to know a lot about medicine.
What does that mean?
But even if blood blotches appear, if the body was already covered in blood,
Oh, that makes sense.
there's no way we'd notice them easily, right?
And it's not like any of us did an autopsy on his body or anything.
Or looked at any of the other parts of his body.
Did he wound his body just to camouflage them?
Oh, that makes sense.
That actually could make sense. See, I don't know anything about poisoning people. I said I don't know anything about poisoning people. What reason do you have to suspect that I'm lying? Go check the fridge. There's not a half-empty bottle of poison. Do not drink unless you are trying to kill in it.
That's also a possibility.
But still, both of Nagito's hands were full. So how would he drink poison?
Well, conveniently, the label takes care of that.
His left hand was tied up and gripping the spear, and his right hand had a knife stuck in it.
And there was blood splatter on his right shoe. Wait, that's involved in some other poison-related death.
If it was a slow-acting poison, it is possible he consumed it in advance.
No, the warning label on the bottle explicitly states the effect is instant.
And I'm only going to mention that right now instead of the rest of the label.
Well, because what he wants you to do is you, the player, go look at the bullet to make sure that you're familiar with the rest of the stuff it says about what was on the label.
Oh.
Then it's impossible. Both his hands were full just before he died.
And this is when the hardtail appears.
We're not talking about that.
You're totally overvaluing that tail.
Look,
And this is coming from me.
Look, the thing is, she appears to think that the front tail and the hard tail are capable of grasping things like the trunk of an elephant. What?
Well, clearly she didn't get that much of an education in school.
His mouth was covered with duct tape, you know. If he wanted to drink poison, how'd he get it past his lips?
Well, I mean, he was covered in cuts.
If there's no way he could have drank the poison, it might be impossible.
Hey, you know, those cuts might actually be how the
poison got into his system.
Or it might have helped anyway.
It's not like we're out of possibilities yet.
Are there any left?
Yeah.
Hell no. No matter how you slice it, he was totally killed by that spear.
Was that a bad joke, Fuyuhiko?
I plead the fifth!
Since we've already ruled out so many possibilities, it might be easier to think about what really killed him. Operation Elimination Method. The hint should be written on the poison's warning label. Maybe.
Oh yeah? The way the poison entered Nagito's body. The answer is written on the warning label?
Yeah, sure is. Oh, you're actually gonna look, huh? Dangerous when vaporized in a gaseous state. Is heavier than air. It breaks down in minutes and is susceptible to hydrolysis.
I should think carefully and try to remember it. Oh god! Oh good! Oh no! Logic dive, okay, woo!
You were afraid it was gonna be another, like, nuclear hangman's gambit? Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Whoa!
I have to show off somehow, dang it.
Well, you're totally capable of it, just not this time.
Wushu! Wushu!
Oh!
Wushu is a type of Chinese martial arts.
No, that's true. What state was the poison in?
Yes!
Affected Nagito. Plasma.
Pulazuma!
Solidus.
That's not a legit type of snake. I've gotten a lot more confident at this.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised you haven't started dancing. You know, like left, right, left, right, left, right, something like that.
Oh, come on!
Ha! I take that, Billy. I gotcha.
Whee!
This seems dangerous. Like maybe you're on the wrong side, or maybe you're on the right side. I guess it's a lot easier, huh?
Suck it!
Here we go. How did the poison enter Nagito's body?
Through his wounds.
I mean,
or his nose.
One of those two.
Through his nose!
That is much simpler than trying to come up with some convoluted reason for him to cut himself. Oh.
Oh god. Blah. Motion sickness. Whew, I'm threading the needle here.
No, you're not.
No, I'm threading the needle. Shut up.
No, that refers to something specific. What? There's only two?
I was surprised too.
It's all coming together. What if instead of drinking the poison, we assume he inhaled it?
It's written on the label.
Inhaled?
It's written on the poison's warning label.
This enchanted liquid is highly potent and takes effect immediately. Please handle with care, such as gloves and a gas mask. Though its volatility is low, this liquid is very dangerous when vaporized.
Dangerous when vaporized. In other words, breathing in the gas is fatal.
And wouldn't you know it, a giant fire started as soon as we opened the door. The only way to get in was to start that fire. Wouldn't you know it?
Then all he had to do was breathe it in through his nose.
He breathed that poisonous gas inside the warehouse? But if poisonous gas had spread throughout the warehouse, why didn't it kill us?
Now, conveniently, it's also susceptible to hydrolysis, and guess what turned on after the fire?
The reason we didn't breathe in the poisonous gas. I should be able to explain that mystery too. The smoke!
See!
The merch! Monokuma saved us!
The sprinklers in the warehouse. Thanks to those, we didn't inhale that poison gas.
The poison gas disappeared because of the sprinklers? It wasn't the fire?
And Akane smelled something horrible, and she had no idea what it was.
Yeah!
None whatsoever.
Well, this was also written on the poison's warning label.
In a gaseous state, it is heavier than air. It breaks down in minutes and is susceptible to hydrolysis. So it is possible for you to poison someone to death without any complications.
Of course! Hydrolysis!
Do you know what that word means?
The chemical bonds that form the poison were broken down by the water from the sprinklers!
That answered that question.
Also, the poison is apparently denser than air, so it probably didn't affect us because we were standing.
And it wouldn't have had time to spread that far?
Right. They
But
wouldn't have had a
Nagito
chance.
was laying down, so he must have breathed in a whole bunch of it, huh?
If it meets the requirements that well, maybe it's not just a possibility anymore.
It literally answers every single question as to why the cause of death wasn't included, and all the other parameters match up. Plus, there's further evidence indicating the poison was used.
Yeah, the true cause of Nagito's death was
Now,
poison.
the problem is...
Yeah?
The problem is going to be the implications of that.
What do you mean?
Well, just because they get the cause of death wrong, if it's still a suicide, it's still a suicide. But like we've been discussing,
Oh, I see.
the implication is it's not actually a suicide because what killed him was inhaling the poison. Now, it's true that he set that poison up, but the person who set the events into motion...
Yeah.
That seems to me like it fits the other requirement, which is that Nagito wants us to feel absolute despair so that we can overcome it and find absolute hope. Because
And someone accidentally killing someone else.
it still counts. Self-defense still counts. Because if there'd be no reason to use the poison and have it be disguised if it was still a suicide. Because correctly identifying the cause of death doesn't matter. We could even guess. We could guess who the killer is, and if we all voted and that person won the vote, it'd still count. We don't have to have the details right.
Yeah.
It's just you darn well better get all the details right every time. That has to be.
The direction it's gonna go?
It has to be. And that's why we have to wait till next time. Happy New Year! Cha-cha-cha!
Danganronpa. Danganronpa.